And over to Pakistan now, which is playing host to top officials from India, China, Russia, and Iran for a regional security summit. The Shanghai Cooperation Organization was set up 2 decades ago and is viewed by some of its members as a counterbalance to alliances like NATO. This time around, it's a chance for Pakistan to show it can pull off a major summit despite its own security concerns and attempt to reconnect with key partners as well as arch rivals.
A grand welcome for a close friend. This is the first time in 11 years a Chinese premier has set foot in Pakistan. Li Qiang is just one of the top officials in Islamabad for a regional security meeting and an important guest for his hosts to woo, as Pakistan struggles to resuscitate a failing economy. Bilateral talks on the sidelines will focus on ramping up crucial Chinese investments. Talks are not in the offing with another rare guest. Indian Foreign Minister S. Jaiswal is the first top Indian official to visit Pakistan in a decade. The visit hasn't meant any easing off in rhetoric, with a threat of action at the UN summit last month.
Pakistan's cross-border terrorism policy will never succeed, and it can have no expectation of impunity. On the contrary, actions will certainly have consequences.
Both countries have ruled out any bilateral talks on the sidelines, but have promised to be civil. Playing host to other bloc members like Iran and Russia amidst serious security concerns, Islamabad is shutting down for 3 days. Yet, some locals hope the meeting brings rare good news.
The situation in Pakistan has been terrible. We've had high inflation for years. It's great that so many leaders are coming here.
Especially, we should welcome Indian foreign ministers to have to trade with them and ask them that they should normalize our relations with them.
It's a chance for Pakistan to boost trade and security ties at a time it needs it most.
And the author of that report, DW's Nimisha Jaiswal, joins me now in the studio for more. Islamabad is basically shut down right now and for the next couple of days. Nimisha, why is the summit so important for Pakistan?
Well, Nicole, we don't see conferences happening that often in Pakistan, do we? It's been 2.5 years since the last one. But this one is going to be crucial for Pakistan, which is struggling on multiple fronts. Now, of course, security is a big one. That's why the whole city shut down for 3 days. But even as security was being tightened up, just yesterday in the northwest of the country, several police officers got killed in an attack. Last week, 2 Chinese workers got killed in another attack in the port city of Karachi. So Pakistan really wants to look safer for its investors, but it is struggling with that image. And the reason it's important is because it's struggling so much economically that it needs to appeal to key partners like China. All of this at a time when it's also in political turmoil. The former Prime Minister, now in jail, Imran Khan, his party has promised to hold protests at a time when Pakistan has shut down Islamabad and has put a ban on protests. So much to deal with, but it needs to come out of this conference saying, hey, we've got this, we're playing with the big boys, and you can trust us to invest here.
Let's talk about the big boys. One guest of honor is the Chinese premier. What's at stake?
Well, China is a crucial trade partner. And just as Premier Li Qiang was landing, there were these attacks in the northwest, of course, that I mentioned. But last week, 2 Chinese nationals got killed. In March, other Chinese nationals got killed as well. There is the rest of province of Balochistan, where a militant group claims that China is exploiting Pakistani resources. But the Pakistani government does not believe that because China is a crucial trade partner. It invests $65 billion in the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, which is under its Belt and Road Initiative. And interestingly, yesterday, the premier inaugurated an airport in that restive province. I was a bit surprised to hear that, but it was virtually, which is always a smart thing to do. But Pakistan really needs to convince China that this is, again, worth continuing a relationship with, worth continuing to invest in. It really needs that money because of its economic crisis.
Let's look at India and Pakistan. There won't be bilateral meetings, as far as we know, at least, but it must be a good sign that this visit is taking place at all.
Well, I think it's important to quote the Indian foreign minister here. He said, "I'm a courteous and civil person and I will behave myself accordingly."
Right.
He's only there for the SEO. He reiterated he doesn't want to talk to Pakistan on the side. Pakistan said, "We will welcome all our guests, even India." So a bit of swiping around here, but it's still so important to get these people in the same room. I mean, it's been 9 years since former Foreign Minister Sushma Swaraj was in Pakistan. A few weeks after that, one of the major attacks on India's Punjab's Pathankot set off one of the biggest disputes between these two countries. Ever since 2019, when Kashmir's special status was removed, Pakistan has shut down trade with India. But let's look at trade, for example. Pakistan and India are right next to each other, yet Pakistan imports things all the way from the UAE, spending so much money. India and Pakistan have different agricultural cycles. They can address each other's food shortages. So India and Pakistan getting along can be really great. But forums like this are a chance for these two countries to talk together. And, some people have criticized the Shanghai Cooperation Organization for being like a talk shop. It hasn't achieved that much yet. But the fact that it's at least a room where people can share, rub shoulders, India and China, India and Pakistan, that ends up being really important as well. And also a chance, of course, to make inroads to other countries.
That was Nimisha Jaiswal. Thank you so much.
And for more on that summit, I'm joined now by Shamil from DW Asia. Shamil, tell us, why is this summit such a big deal for Pakistan?
Well, it's a very packed question, multi-layered, but I'll try to answer with brevity and clarity. Pakistan has been facing so many problems over the years that this conference is very important on so many levels. It's like a lot of optics. Most international leaders are not visiting Pakistan anymore. Pakistan is not an active player in global politics on international arena. So hosting such a big summit in Pakistan is kind of giving out this impression that Pakistan is ready to play this kind of a role once again. This is rare, this is not happening anymore. At the same time, Pakistan is facing so many economic issues, challenges, the inflation, the unemployment, that this also could be hoped that this would bring in some kind of some foreign exchange, some investment inside Pakistan. At the same time, Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif's government is very unstable. There have been protests organized by his opponent, Imran Khan, the politician who is incarcerated, all over the country. So he is also trying to give out this impression that the country is in control, he is in charge, and everything is stable. So multi-layered, many aspects why this is such a big deal for Islamabad.
Shamil, you mentioned that international leaders don't often visit Pakistan. China's premier is at this summit, and we heard in the report it's the first visit by a Chinese head of government to Islamabad in 11 years. Just focusing in on China, why is this so important?
Well, Pakistan is an ally of the West, of the US, but at the same time, it is very close to Beijing. And it has maintained very good ties with China, despite being close to the West. And Beijing is a very important player in this Shanghai Cooperation Organization. So Pakistan is hosting the premier. But what is more important and significant in my view is not that a Chinese premier has visited Pakistan in 11 years. What is important is that a Chinese leader has actually visited Pakistan, because Chinese nationals have been targeted inside Pakistan. There have been attacks by Balochistan militants. They have been attacking Chinese nationals inside Pakistan. They have been attacking Chinese projects inside Pakistan. And the Chinese leaders are quite unhappy, angry with Islamabad that they have not been able to protect their assets, their investment, and their nationals. So it is a big gesture on part of China, showing confidence in Islamabad that, okay, we still have this kind of confidence in Islamabad, and the premier has visited the country. Big gesture on Beijing's part, in my opinion.
Shamil Shams from DW's Asia desk. I'm afraid we've run out of time, but Shamil, thanks so much for that analysis.